Welcome to NTN Nightly. I am Janelle Norville. This edition's top stories. Government repurposes a World Bank loan to support the private sector's COVID-19 recovery. Ministries of Education and Health and Wellness continue to collaborate for a safe learning environment. And an amendment to the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Act to benefit stakeholders. The government of St. Lucia is providing more support to the private sector to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 with the repurposing of another loan. The assistance is being channeled through the St. Lucia Development Bank. Lisa Joseph has the details.
The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the global economy at virtually all levels, necessitating government, private sector, and international agency action to mitigate these effects. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, have been affected on both the supply and the demand side of the economy, creating a crippling cycle. For instance, on the supply side, illnesses, quarantines, and a lack of childcare have reduced the amount of labor resources available to SMEs. At the pandemic's outset, the supply chain was disrupted, causing shortages of raw materials, parts, and goods needed by SMEs to produce their goods or services. The Climate Adaptation Financing Facility, the CAF, has been providing low-cost financing to small and medium-sized businesses since 2017 to help them build resilience to climate change. The Department of Economic Development approached the World Bank to repurpose part of the CAF loan. Claudia Emanuel is the Permanent Secretary in the Department of Economic Development.
So CAF is some $5 million, 4.5 of which is dedicated to financing. And so what would have happened is that with COVID, you would have had a significant negative impact on those small enterprises. Given the lockdowns and the various protocols associated with the pandemic, there would have been a significant loss of business. And so with a view to helping those private sector businesses kickstart their operations, it was felt that the key component or the key requirement would be financing to be able to allow them to do so. And so we thought that as we see internationally, the critical component would have been to provide that support of income that would enable them to get back on their feet.
The part loan, part grant facilities being implemented through the St. Lucia Development Bank. Vincent Boland is the managing director.
We have focused on businesses with people who employ under 5 people in their business, 10 people. Small businesses. So they come to us. The challenge that we have been facing with them is that some of these people, their accounting records, their ability to put together their financial statements as well as a business plan tends to be a little more onerous on them. But we have actually started to see how best we can reach out to them and assist them. And we're asking all persons who have made inquiries, who have applied, to come back and speak to us and see how we can together assist you in putting together your business plan, putting together your information that will allow you to access the funding.
Several small and medium-sized businesses have accessed nearly $1 million EC dollars in recovery financing thus far.
The rate is still at a very low introductory rate of 4.5%. The process is that you identify the application form on our website, you download it, you fill it out, and you send it back to us. And that starts the ball rolling. If you can send in your business plan at that same point in time, it's even better. Normal requirement as well is that you have to demonstrate that you have had a 30% reduction in your revenue. For some people, that's easy. For others, it may not be so easy to show the 30% reduction, meaning that if you are a small business and you are not necessarily keeping records, we are trying to encourage you to take your little exercise book, notebook, and write down how much money you made over the last year.
The CAF Business Recovery Program received technical and financial support from the World Bank, the Climate Investment Funds, and the European Union through the ACP EU Natural Disaster Risk Reduction Program. From the Government Information Service, Lisa Joseph reporting.
Meantime, the third term of the academic year is progressing well despite the challenges COVID-19 poses with the return of face-to-face instruction. The Ministries of Education and Health continue to collaborate on ensuring a safe environment for learning. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, in a recent report titled COVID-19 and School Closures, stated that the world is facing a COVID-19 education crisis. The report found that schools for more than 168 million children globally have been closed for almost a full year, and with every passing day, these children will fall further behind, and the most vulnerable will pay the heaviest price. UNICEF noted that as the world navigates the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic, no effort should be spared to keep schools open or to prioritize them in reopening plans, as children cannot afford another year of school closures. National epidemiologist Dr. Michelle Fassois, highlighting the importance of in-class instruction, assured that the Ministry of Health and Wellness has implemented the necessary systems that would ensure the health and safety of all students as they continue in the classroom setting.
Generally, children under the age of 18 years present with a very mild disease and represent about 8 to 9% of all cases globally. Locally, this accounts for approximately 9.5% of our cases. Although the World Health Organization reports few outbreaks in schools and believe that the spread of COVID-19 in school settings is very limited, the Ministry of Health and Wellness strives to ensure that our children remain in a safe and healthy environment. As with all sectors, the ministries have collaborated to establish a reporting and response system to manage COVID-19 in schools. Contact tracing is one of the core public health pillars used to break the chains of transmission in infectious diseases. It involves actively looking for the contacts or persons who have been exposed to a COVID-19 case. These persons are then contacted, and based on the level of exposure, a decision is made on whether they should be isolated, quarantined, or made to self-monitor.
Noting several breaches to home quarantine, Dr. Fassois explained that individuals in households with positive COVID-19 cases are not to venture to work or school. Instead, it is advised that these individuals get tested and remain homebound until their results are obtained. Chief Education Officer Dr. Fiona Phillip-Meyer called on all adults in the community to act responsibly so as to protect the nation's children by adhering to all COVID-19 protocols.
The statistics as per the Department of Health speak to a significant number of adults between the age of 24 to 49 being impacted by the COVID-19. Many of those adults are parents, they're staff members, they're individuals who work within various sectors. And so we encourage our adults to take on the greatest responsibility in terms of protecting and keeping our children safe. We would like to remind all educators that they must continue to adhere to established protocols within the schools. Similarly, we want to ask our parents to be partners with us, to follow the protocols as it relates to in-school activities, but also within their own homes, as per suspected cases, individuals in isolation, COVID-19 positive cases. And one of the major precautionary measures that we want to always undertake is to leave children at home in which a household has been impacted. And we speak to both suspected cases, individuals in isolation, as well as COVID-19 cases. That precautionary measure will definitely help us within the education system.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Department of Education continue to work collaboratively so as to ensure the safety of all students as they pursue in-class instruction. Businesses in the tourism accommodation sector are poised to benefit from an amendment to the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Act. Hermady Mark explains.
The government of St. Lucia has announced plans to provide incentives, tax relief and exemptions to small property owners in the tourism sector, such as apartments and villas. This is for proposed new and existing projects. The amendment of the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Act will make this possible. The Act currently holds a requirement for projects of 6-room expansions and above. The announcement was made by Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture and Creative Industries, Honorable Dominic Fede, at a recent sitting of the House of Assembly.
One of the things or the shortcomings of the Act that we have noted is the fact that the 6-room requirement still stands. And so, Mr. Speaker, we're hoping that with additional legislation we will bring to the House in the coming weeks to ensure that the 6 rooms requirement no longer apply, and St. Lucians who are owners of apartments and villas can qualify for incentives regardless of having 6 rooms or not.
As government hopes to make provisions for small property owners in the coming weeks, Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dominic Fede, shared some of the progress made in the sector under the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Act.
So we saw, Mr. Speaker, a 36-room expansion at Serenity at Coconut Bay. We also saw, Mr. Speaker, that the Act was successful in facilitating incentives for 26-room expansion at Windjammer Landing. Harbour Club, Mr. Speaker, 115 rooms. Royalton, 456 rooms. Villa Zona, 6 rooms. Yellow Sands, Mr. Speaker, 8 rooms. St. Joseph's Limited, 6 rooms. Saul Sanctum, 8 rooms. We also had Francine, 6 rooms. Green Fig Resort, 20 rooms. Villa Poi, 6 rooms. And as well, Mr. Speaker, Progress Palace, some 28 rooms, totaling nearly 670 rooms.
The Tourism Stimulus and Investment Act has been extended for an additional period of 3 years from 1st April 2021 to the 31st of April 2024. From the Government Information Service, I'm Hermedy Mark.
Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, meeting virtually in a special session on Tuesday, 11th May, unanimously agreed to appoint Dr. Carla Natalie Barnett as the 8th CARICOM Secretary General. Dr. Barnett, a national of Belize, is the first woman and the first Belizean to be selected for the post. She will replace Ambassador Erin LaRocque, who is completing his 2nd term. She will assume office on the 15th of August 2021. A former Deputy Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Barnett was formerly Vice President of the Belize Senate and has served in various ministerial capacities in her country's government. She has also served as Financial Secretary of Belize and Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Belize, as well as Vice President of Operations of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB. St. Lucian Dr. Hyginus Jean Leon, meanwhile, has officially taken office as President of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB. The seasoned economist will lead a team of more than 200 employees headquartered in Bridgetown, Barbados. He comes to the assignment with 35 years of experience in economics, financial policy development, and executive management for more than 20 years, of which was spent working with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. He succeeds Dr. Warren Smith, who retired on April 30 after serving as president for 10 years. Tusan King English Francis of CARICOM News Time reports.
Dr. Warren Smith bid farewell to the Caribbean Development Bank on April 30th, retiring from his position as president. In his farewell engagement with the board of directors, Dr. Smith reflected on the successes of his 10-year-long tenure, noting that larger financial institutions are now channeling increased levels of resources through the CDB, giving donors and beneficiaries better value for money. Under President Smith's leadership, membership in the bank increased to 28 members, with Suriname joining in 2013 and Brazil in 2015. The bank established its first country office in Haiti in 2018. Dr. Hyginus Jean Leon took over from Dr. Warren Smith as president of the CDB from the 1st of May.
High on the new president's agenda is supporting CDB's borrowing member countries for the COVID-19 recovery, while advancing the bank's mandate to contribute to the harmonious growth and development of member countries. This is NTN Nightly. Up next, Primus Hutchinson with the NTN Nouvelle à Creole.
Hi. My name is Denzel Joseph from the Environmental Health Division, Department of Health and Wellness, and today we're going to educate you on the proper process for obtaining a license for the following types of establishments. Food establishments including restaurants, canteens, snackettes, and food trucks. Hotels, spas, barber shops and hair salons, villas and apartment houses, guest houses, supermarkets, grocery shops, bars and liquor shops, ice cream carts. First, complete an application form at any one of our offices located in Soufrière, Vieux-Fort, or Bois d'Ouage. This is what the forms will look like. Officers from the division will then come to your establishment to conduct an inspection. Ensure that the officers conducting the inspection present a valid form of ID. You will receive a report within 3 working days to inform you of the findings and recommendations, as well as whether your establishment has met the necessary requirements for licensing. Once you have met the benchmark, your next step will be to pay the license fee. All payments should be made directly at our main office in Bois d'Ouage or at the sub-collector's offices in Vieux-Fort and Soufrière, and by no other means. We accept cash or check payments only. All check payments must be addressed to the Accountant General. A receipt will be given to you at the time of payment. Processing of the license begins. Lastly, return to our office with your receipt within 2 to 3 weeks to sign and collect the certificate. For more information, please call us at our main office in Bois d'Ouage at 468-3700, the Vieux-Fort office at 454-6329, or the Soufrière office at 459-7329.
Welcome back. We join Primus Hutchinson for the NTN Nouvelle à Créole.
Merci autant, Janelle. Monsieur, Madame, département qui est responsabilité pour information en gouvernement cette là-ci, ça c'est GIS, à savoir puis télévision nationale pays à NTN, qui a posé une nouvelle à Créole, posé Primus Hutchinson. Community business cette là-ci, qui est plus capable à présent pour faire bataille contre la maladie corona parce que vous recevez bon support du gouvernement Taïwan. L'initiative ça c'était une collaboration et puis chambre de commerce pour assister les travailleurs et mettre les business à pays pour ça avoir une meilleure position pour abattre la maladie corona pour pas s'immerger. Cette business cette là a trouvé un mauvais choc, pas mauvais pandémie ça là qui était obligé de réduire à son opération. Ministre de responsabilité pour industrie, investissement, commerce et affaires les consommateurs, honorable Bradley Felix, remarque que le gouvernement cette là-ci très plein et puis appréciable de assistance là qui presque $1 million au gouvernement Taïwan qui vient par l'ambassade de Taïwan qui a cette là-ci. Assistance financière là qui a soulagé 5,000 travailleurs qui pas recevoir un haut salaire et 3,000 qui aller pour se mettre cette business là et l'autre business qui a débrouillé toujours pour aider ou renforcer capacité pour adresser effectivement de façon protocole. Ça c'est de façon protocole, ça c'est pour servir masque à Sophie-Jai et pour sanitiser. Ambassade de Taïwan, Peter Shen, complémenté Premier ministre honorable Alan Chasney, et ministre des Affaires, Investissement et Commerce, honorable Bradley Felix, pour déguer détermination pour faire bataille contre Corona. C'est que le Premier ministre Sophia Henry remercie tout qui est engagé à l'initiative ça, particulièrement le ministère des Affaires et Développement économique qui facilite pour trouver assistance à la gouvernement Taïwan. Côté plusieurs mille travailleurs et mettre des business qui recevront divers articles pour nettoyer ni un caille et en place business. C'est que le directeur exécutif pour la Chambre de commerce, Brian Lucia, déclaré que attention, c'est pour aider cette business-là, pour développer des capacités, pour opérer à d'ailleurs l'environnement qui s'en est sauve. Alors, qualité initiative ça là, qui a aidé pour changer ces signes qui sont sur la porte business qui a dit yo pas moun pas ça tuer ça en masse. À ce fait pour mettre puis tu vas changer pour en tuer et que nous kay ba en masse pour mettre. Go initiative ça là qui a coûté en hauteur de $935,800 avec 5,000 travailleurs et 3,000 mètres de business qui expérimenté bénéfice ça là. Pour une deuxième fois en plusieurs mois, il y a ces business charitable, ça c'est Rainforest Adventures qui est situé à Paris Babono. Pas seulement faire une contribution pour la commune, mais aussi j'ai fait une contribution pour ses enfants en façon pour faciliter la route à la vie en temps pour venir. Comme ça là, c'est une facilité pour tous les enfants à l'école avec ménagement Rainforest Adventures qui présenté officiellement une autre facilité pour les petits enfants en l'école la guerre. Ça y est le Early Childhood Development Center. Facilité de ça là, ni toute sorte de qualité façon pour ces petits enfants ça a joué et comme c'est koyo à la l'école la même institution petits enfants ça là la guerre babono oui c'est vrai grande facilité à yo ka ko kay renforcer programme éducation ces petits enfants ça là autant et c'était yon qui yo te aspect pour un pile tard présent. Initiative ça là venu possible par assistance ministère des Affaires éducation et représentatif parlement pour babono honorable Ezekiel Joseph. Maîtresse l'école en institution ça là Joanie Chasney était très appréciable et dit que l'initiative là kay bâti confiance ces affaires là avec des belles facilités de ça là tirer ces affaires ça là en bas condition qui a été cordial pièce tout bonnement côté yo tenu pour jouer en terre frette et à délai à dedans et cause qui était très difficile mais affaire Rainforest Adventures c'est Rainforest Adventures Darrell Raymond fait comprendre que bâtiment facilité ça là apporter plusieurs bénéfices et dit que construction facilité a été pris en considération l'autre mamaille qui en Paris là qui ça prend l'avantage facilité a particulièrement durant finissement semaine mais monsieur Raymond quoi qui ça a fait et puis pile précaution et responsabilité et protection contre maladie corona. Officier des affaires éducation, département éducation, Cyrus Sepal, remercie Rainforest Adventures autant et renforcer à son bénéfice qui ont des enfants qui expérimentent les unions facilités pour jouer. Il fait comprendre que les petits enfants qui jouent, ça a développé capacité pour servir ouvert plus et pour aussi apprendre plus mais et plus vite. Représentatif à le Parlement pour Paris Babono, honorable Ezekiel Joseph, parler de plusieurs assistances que l'école là et jeunesse a aussi vrai à ces paroles qui a représenté. Par exemple, programme pour assister les étudiants qui font bien à l'examination Common Entrance. Aussi assistance pour les programmes après l'école, des fois un programme sport. Représentatif là qui a collaboration ça là et puis Rainforest Adventures qui a continué pour un beau d'autres temps après. Les cultivateurs figues cette ici qui a eu un grand changement. Il y a un grand changement à l'industrie figue là, plus vite que le gouvernement a fait préparation pour mettre changement opération industrie figue là à pays. Le ministre des Affaires agricoles, c'est honorable Ezekiel Joseph, fait comprendre que ces changements ça là venir en place et qu'il y a plus sérieux en façon que les farmers figues qui pour opérer. Selon le ministre agricole là, pendant le gouvernement a fait préparation pour que l'industrie figue là trouve à des degrés qui est plus en faveur des farmers et bien qu'il devait être figue. Encore ça c'est la caïni quand même une situation qui mérite adresser et que ça c'est une grande quantité en yo pas certifié.
Le gouvernement nous pour parler et puis international organisation pour équipe ça nous ça fait parce que si nous parler à ce manière il a fait actuellement il a pour nous l'année à l'année pour toutes ces femmes qui vivent figue pour un yoga certifié et puis on passe à 20 figures en Angleterre et puis l'Angleterre baisse à ça 5 dimanches ils veulent figue là mais ils veulent quality figue.
Honorable Ezekiel Joseph déclare que malgré toute cette histoire qui s'est expérimentée en figue, l'Angleterre a même figue qui sortit cette ici pour yo de grande qualité figue cette ici c'est une qui différent les autres ces figues là que yo ka acheter.
Cette ici qui vend plus vite. Oui. Because of quality goa, right? Moun ka acheter plus figue cette ici, right? Pour ça yo commande pour ça yo still intéressé pour continuer à trader puis nous mais nous pas ça continuer à voir figue qui panique bon qualité monter l'Angleterre parce nous pas ni wind fresh encore les wind fresh t'es là nous pas tenir problème ça et puis quality problème nous tenir c'était puis consistency of supply because wind fresh t'es ripen figue là wind fresh t'es grade figue là et quand TSC figue là qui va avoir puis les vous bonne figue by supermarket là c'est bon qualité figue mais nous pas ni wind fresh encore right five business thing and même quand nous Rajim c'est business et puis quoi dit moi that a G do Rajim over $800,000 because of poor quality fruit. No, ça nous va espérer. Nous va espérer sur NFT. nous avons espace au NFT, pour, since on the 13th of April, nous écrivons, right? Almost a month, right? Nous écrivons, dis-nous, qui laisse 4 moun ou qu'on recommande pour mettre les boards là, board là, pour se raconter toi, right? Up to now. Et puis, maintenant, M. Mono, je ne sais pas si c'est le chairman qui a dit that he écrit on the 1st of April. Let last on the 7th of April. Un semaine après, nous écrivons. 13th, nous écrivons. Et puis, nous disons, qui for NFT directors, up to nous voyons pour ça.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est côté nous à trois nouvelles là. Moi, je remercie autant pour regarder ma invitation. Pour je n'ai plus moi considérer conserver la vie, les pour cette autre nouvelle à quoi la pour ça. Mon vieux pour cette Chanel.
Merci Appeal Primus. That brings us to the end of NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the St. Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I am Janelle Norvell.